Hello, welcome to PMP Journey. Today we got a student question from our friend Fran, who's asking about change requests. This question came from page 117 in the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. Let's take a look. It reads, many processes produce change requests as an output, and that's to be understood. And you think about it, change requests could come from a number of processes. There's so many of them in the PMBOK Guide that we see change requests coming out from. The second line says, change requests described in section 4334 may include corrective action, preventive action, defect repairs, as well as updates to formally controlled documents or deliverables to reflect modified and or additional ideas or content. So let's take a look real quick at 4334 to understand corrective action, preventive action, defect repair, and updates. And I refer to this as CAPADRU, C-A-P-A-D-R-U, corrective action, preventive action, defect repair, and updates. So when you take a look at this section, there's some language that you need to be very careful with. And I'm going to highlight these on the screen. When it comes to corrective action, you need to associate this with a keyword, and that keyword is realign. The keyword is realign. It reads on page 96, corrective action is an intentional activity that realigns the performance of the project work with the project management plan. It's a realignment. Then we have preventive action. The key word in preventive action is align. And I'm going to read it so you understand. It says an intentional activity that ensures the future performance. That's another key word. We're talking about future performance. Future performance of the project work is aligned. So it's not a realignment, it's an alignment. There's a difference. Realignment means you had to do it again. Alignment means you're doing it now, and it is going to align the future work with what is desired. That's the key word. Last but not least, we have defect repair. An intentional activity. I want you to watch the word in defect repair. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to make this over here. All right. Now, keyword, modify. Okay. So it reads on page 96, an intentional activity to modify a non-conforming product or product component. All right, so there you have those very important terms. And then it says updates. What do we mean by updates? Changes to formally controlled documents. You see that word there, formally controlled document, or deliverables to reflect modified, watch this, or additional ideas or content. See that? So when you're taking a look at change requests, we could be talking about corrective action to correct something that is happening now, need to realign. Preventive action, the act of aligning the project in the first place. This, of course, comes before there's any cause for corrective action or defect repair. Then we have defect repair itself, which means there's an error, there's a defect, there's something you need to fix or modify. And lastly, updates. Updates, changes to formally controlled project documents and plans and so on. Okay. Going on to the third bullet here. Changes may or may not impact the project baselines. Let's think about that for a second. What kind of change could this be? Well, think about the baselines: cost, schedule, and scope. If someone needs a task to be done differently to produce the same result, that could be looked at as a change, and it doesn't impact the project baseline. Someone may need money distributed differently across tasks. That will not impact the project baseline. It will change the allocations per task, maybe not even at the work package level. And that could be a change. Let's say someone wants a different color of a leather seat in a vehicle. That is a change that does not necessarily impact cost or schedule, you see. Sometimes only the performance against the baseline is affected. So think about this in a number of ways. Performance could mean the execution of the work, right? In all the other examples I showed you, we could have updates that does not affect the baseline. Now, when we talk about performance against the baseline, a change to the project could say, we need XYZ amount of work completed. It does not affect the schedule. It does not affect the cost. It does not affect the scope. We just need it to be reported differently. So think about that. The performance of the work in terms of how you report the work could change, right? But it doesn't change the baseline. You could also say, we want to change to the project where at least a CPI of 0.98, a cost performance index of 0.98 must be achieved at a minimum. Prior, it was 0.9. Now we're saying it's 0.98. It doesn't affect the baseline, doesn't affect the cost baseline, but the performance against the cost baseline is affected by this change request, you see. So I'm hoping that these examples are giving you ideas of what exactly this means, but I don't want to belabor the issue. Okay, I think we've already done it enough justice because we have a lot of important stuff to talk about in the weeks ahead with Agile. Okay, we need to get out of the PMBOK guide dregs and we need to go into the world of Agile very soon. So I'm hoping that this is sufficient to explain what exactly they mean by that. Okay, and last but not least, it reads here, decisions on those changes are usually made by the project manager. So think about it. What they're saying here is not every change request needs change control board intervention. Some changes that do not impact project baselines, those change requests could be decided upon by the project manager alone without any further intervention from a sponsor or change control board, okay? Just remember though, there are many ways to work around project management. And when the PMI gives you questions on the exam, I keep trying to remind folks about this, but it's important you realize the questions are not going to be as straightforward as what does a PMBOK guide say? No, you're really going to have to think them through, okay? I want to leave you with a quick reminder about different types of questions, okay? Here's an example of a type of question that is helpful in your studying for the PMP exam, but is not the kind of question you would find on the exam. For example, okay, brainstorming for possible ways to counteract uncertainty. Which process is this? Okay, you should know that the answer to this is plan risk responses, right? Option D. So that could help you in your basic understanding. But on the exam, You won't get questions of a simple nature like this. You will get questions that take you to the next level in your thinking, that try to get more thinking out of the individual. So you could get a question with multiple lines like this, see, or multiple lines like this. And this is right down the alley of where we just looked at. So I would like you to take a stab at this question based on what you've been studying in chapter 4. Let me know what you think. Hit the pause button if you need more time, and I'll show you the answer. 3, 2, and 1. All right, here is the answer. I am showing you the answer. The answer to this is A. Every documented change request needs to be either approved, deferred, or rejected by a responsible individual. Pretty similar to what we just read with a little bit more information about the project sponsor in there. Okay, I hope this helps explain that question to you on page 117. All the best in your studying, and bye for now.